Hello and welcome to our Decode Bytes channel. I have several times asked about what is Docker and when to use it, and if you want to understand these questions, if you want to get answers to these questions, then this tutorial is absolutely for you. So let's get started. Nowadays, we are actively using too many tools and technologies as a software developer. Example, if you are a .NET developer, you may need to install not just .NET Platform, .NET Framework, .NET Core, but also Docker, Kubernetes, RabbitMQ, Apache Kafka, depending from your the environment, depending from your job description. Long story short, you need to install too many tools. The problem here is, as a software developer, you need to do the installation configuration rather than focusing on your business process. And it takes a lot of time for you to configure the things because nowadays the configuration changes a lot, and sometimes we are facing with tons of issues, and we need to deal with that before starting our development process, because we need to configure our environment before starting the development process. What are the problems here? The problems here is when you install some tool or some application, it may require, I don't know, Java, it may require .NET's different versions, so you need to install different .NET versions separately. You need to install Java's different versions. This is a big problem for us. In general, we have an installer. We have installed it from the internet. We are running it. We are getting error. Okay, we are trying to search for a solution on internet. We are trying it again. We are getting another error, and then we are repeating all the processes again. We are searching on internet, trying it again, getting another error, and this cycle just repeats every time. For example, I want to install Apache Kafka, but Apache Kafka requires Zookeeper to be installed, okay? Because Zookeeper acts as a manager on Kafka brokers. The problem here is I don't want to use Apache Kafka CLI. I want to see all the things using graphical tools like Kafka UI, Offset Explorer. So I need to install Kafka UI separately. What you need to have to be fixed all these problems, you just need to have Docker desktop and properly configured Docker Compose file. Docker Compose purpose here to install all the things, all the services. I mean the Kafka, Zookeeper, Kafka UI acts as a service, and you type a YAML file on your Docker Compose, and this Docker Compose will install all the services with their communications. Okay. That's all. Using this, you can deal with that. So let's see what we have. In my Docker folder, I have Docker Compose file. This Docker Compose file contains Zookeeper using this image, contains Kafka using this image, and Kafka UI with this image. In Docker, we have images as installers. Okay, these images are our installers. We are first installing these images, and we are running these images as containers to make it runnable as a process in our system. Okay, that's all. We configured our Zookeeper, our Kafka UI. We defined all the environment variables, dependencies, and that's all. Now this Docker Compose file is ready to be run. So what I need to do here to run it, I'm just going to right click, git bash, and type Docker Compose up -d. That's all. When I hit enter, it is going to install and run all these services together as a complex service. I have already installed these images. For that reason, it takes a few milliseconds for me to configure all the things. But for you, it will take some time because Zookeeper, Kafka, and Kafka UI are separate applications, and they have 100 megabytes of size. So it will take some time for you. And at the end, when you open your Docker desktop, you see that all the things are running properly. Let's run our Kafka here also. I'm just running it, and now everything is ready. And when I hit Kafka UI, I can see that Kafka UI is responsible for defining a graphical interface for our Kafka. So that's actually all. That's all related to Docker. In the end, you should understand that we use Docker to speed up our development process, and Docker helps. Docker brings all the complexity related to installing and configuring things. So that's actually all. See you in the next lesson.